off the auto, you've taken them out of the algorithm, you've turned off the auto referral, you're no longer recommending minors?
Yes, not all minors. There will be situations where there's perfectly legitimate video footage containing minors, but videos that contain minors in risky conditions, we have stopped recommending those.
How much money does YouTube make from videos featuring children?
We don't break down money that way, Senator.
You don't know what it really, because I thought the response to the New York Times was that it would not be, it would be devastating for your business model.
I don't know that reference. We don't. I can tell you that the kinds of videos that you're referencing, we have no desire to see pedophiles utilizing YouTube.
I wouldn't have thought so either.
And that's the reason we've taken a number of steps.
How about this? You may know that I've introduced a bill that would codify this into law. Steps, it sounds like the ones you say you voluntarily taken. So will Google support that bill that would stop any company, yours or others, from automatically referring videos featuring minors in this way?
I'd be happy to. I haven't looked at the bill, but we'd be happy to look at it. And certainly it's an area it sounds like we have a common interest in working towards a successful outcome on.
Well, it's certainly an area in which I think the American people have an interest in protecting their children, just as the American people have an interest in getting information that is free and fair, just as the American people have an interest in having their data promoted and protected,
Absolutely.
Just as the American people have an interest in having companies that describe themselves as a proudly American company, those are your words.
Absolutely.
From not doing business with, sharing secrets with, or otherwise promoting the worst, most authoritarian regime on the planet, which is China. So, I'll just associate myself with the remarks of, I think, all of my colleagues here. Clearly, our trust and patience in your company and the behavior of your monopoly has run out. It has certainly run out with me, and I think it's time for some accountability. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hawley. Mr. Brattia, you talked about that Google values being a trusted brand. I will tell you, I think that trust has been severely eroded. Google, as I understand it, was founded on a motto of "Don't be evil." There are more than a few Americans who have skepticism that Google is living up to that promise. You answered Senator Hawley that, well, gosh, The Economist and others have done studies. Did The Economist have access to Google's internal records?
No, Senator, I believe it was done externally. They ran a series of tests based on results that they were plugging into our search engine.
So one of the very frustrating things about this topic is there are very limited data. Much of this topic gets argued by anecdote, which is a less than satisfying way to consider any topic or to consider any analysis, and it yields things such as Democratic senators saying there is no censorship. The problem is Google has all the data, as does Facebook, as does Twitter. Let's see if we can get a little bit of that data. In the year 2018, how many ads by Republican office holders did Google block?
How many political ads?
How many ads by a Republican office holder did Google block?
I don't have the number off the top of my head. I would say the vast majority of ads that get submitted get run.
Will you commit to answering that question?
We'd be happy to come back to you.
And I want the same answer. How many ads by Democrats did Google block? How many videos by Republican office holders did YouTube block? How many videos by Democratic office holders did YouTube block? Those are objective data.
On the latter question, we looked into that. There were no videos blocked by Republicans or Democrat members of the Congress.
Okay, so my understanding actually is one of the members of this committee, Senator Marsha Blackburn, had one of her ads blocked because you deemed it shocking content. Is that
ads? Again, distinguish ads from videos. I thought you divided those two. Ads, we have had both Democrats and Republicans on occasion be blocked. In the case of Senator Blackburn, yes, there was an ad that she submitted. It involved one of the people on the ad voicing an obscenity that
was bleeped out. Is that correct?
That violates our policies. Well, it was clear what it was apparently, and that was violated. So we went back. We talked to the senator.
So let me say, I appreciate your commitment to answer these questions, and I'm going to ask them to you in writing.
Mm-hmm.
If Google will answer some straightforward questions, that provide the data, that may go a long way either to exonerating Google or to demonstrating there's a real problem. And not only on the metric of Republicans versus Democrats, also on the metric of how many pro-life ads has Google refused to run. This committee has heard testimony, for example, that the movie Unplanned, the true story about a former employee of Planned Parenthood, Google refused to run their ads. So that's a question I'd like an answer to. How many pro-life ads did Google refuse to run, and how many pro-choice ads did Google refuse to run? Likewise, how many pro-Israel ads has Google refused to run? How many anti-Israel ads? Those data, right now, Google is a black box, and nobody knows. Let me ask another question. What was the average ad rate Google charged the Trump campaign in the 2016 campaign?
Ad rates, Senator, are set by auction. So Democrats, Republicans, it's entirely based on when they would want to run.
There is an average ad rate. That is a number. It would be the average of the rate you charged across the board. And I'm going to ask you in writing, what was the average ad rate that the Trump campaign paid and the Clinton campaign paid? And if those two numbers are roughly equal, that will indicate one thing. If those two numbers are wildly different, that may indicate something else. And right now, it is Google that knows that, and as far as I know, nobody else.
If I may, again, just on ads specifically, all ads are not the same. In other words, if you are running a banner headline on YouTube, that may be a higher price than a lower, less. So it's a matter of going to be like for like.
That would be fabulous, and you're more than welcome to break it down. The average banner ad rate for the Trump campaign was X, and the average, if there are three different types of ads, break it down in whatever categgory, but compare apples to apples.
And if I could also, Senator, we do have all of the advertising spending for all members on our website where we publicize this. There's a transparency report that we put out annually on spending by candidates. It's all up there. Welcome to. We'll be happy to point it out to your staff.
Now, let me ask you, some have asked, well, gosh, who would possibly think that Google was discriminating against conservative views? The senior leadership at Google